Well, welcome to the Soccer Podcast USA. I am joined here by $1 million winner, general manager, a lot more efficient than me. It took her 1 week to win $1 million, and I'm running a club for 365 days of the year, and I didn't win $1 million. But Lori, welcome. Have you recovered yet from the celebrations?
I am recovering and continuing to be on the go is the best way to put it. But no, it was a blast. We won on Monday night, had a quick flight to Philly yesterday morning, and then just hit the ground running as NWSL MLS is calling. So the work does not stop. But yes, it was a blast. Back to back, wasn't easy. But also, huge congratulations to you. Your team's in the championship this Saturday. So that's massive.
Oh, it's massive. It's massive. Actually, it's fascinating. I'm gonna jump back to TST real quick, but like for right now is I've actually had to call like general managers and presidents of like the first 10 years or 5 years of NWSL when you won the semifinal you hosted. Like
Yeah.
is it as chaos as it is right now, right? Because you find out Sunday night at 10:30 that you're hosting a game, and then you're having to go sell out a stadium, which we're actually on the way to sell out again for the third
Oh,
time. But
amazing.
yeah, which is super duper cool. I mean, it helps that it's a Florida Derby against, Fort Lauderdale, and they're sending supporters. But yeah, now I know why they have neutral sites. Now I know why those things are
Yeah,
predetermined a year before.
absolutely.
And now I know a lot of things now. But it's cool. Our team here at Tampa Bay Sun, the front of house staff is incredible. Hurricanes, game day reschedules, and now this in a semifinal in less than 11 and 5 days. Super shout out to them. Pretty sure none of them listen to this. They're probably listening to me talk about it right now because everyone's operating in the background if you can't hear. But real quick question on some TST though, real quick.
Yeah.
There's this ball. It's like a beautifully decorated ball with all the team's logo. What is that?
Oh, yes. So the ball was, from my understanding, we were supposed to get it last year and break it as well. Well, we did that this year. So we're supposed to drop it just drop it so everyone gets a piece. And we drop it, it broke, and then that's kind of like the souvenir you get for winning. So I just actually pulled mine out of my bag this morning. It's like a very hard piece of ball. So I strategically picked though because there's like Angel City, so Saskia Weber got that one. I was like, not taking that, not taking any of the other names. So I tried to get the piece where there wasn't any names unless it was ours. But oh goodness, the festivities afterwards were great. And credit to Bumpy Pitch, who we played in all the teams that played, because it was a really wonderful tournament, competitive tournament this year. And Bumpy Pitch was fantastic competitor in the final.
Yeah, no, and thanks for explaining that because like nobody knows what that was. So there's actually confusion as to whether everyone was accidentally breaking the trophies, and it wasn't until Ted came home and he's like, "No, they're supposed to break it." I'm like,
Yes.
"That's not being communicated very well." So
Yeah.
actually, like the fact that I thought you all accidentally breaking these things, I'm like, "That's
No, we
brilliant."
got
It's
up
like Coco
there.
Gauff
We
dropping the
had like a
trophy.
handful of our teammates up there dropping it and everybody cheering them on. So,
I love it.
yes.
Oh my goodness, is this your guest for today? Let's go.
Do you two know each other?
No, I don't think so, Jessica.
She should know my voice. I have
Yeah, I was gonna
called
say
nearly
we
Oh,
do
every
tons of.
Tampa Bay Sun goal this season,
I
I
was gonna
was about
Christina.
to
say
say,
yes.
actually, even the semifinal, I was like listening to the voice. And Jessica, I can't watch games normally anymore. I'm listening to you all. I'm listening. I'm watching the field. I'm watching player movement. I'm watching ticket sales. Like, welcome to the podcast, though.
Thank you so much for having me. I am very glad when Laurie Lindsay asks you to do something, I'm sure you're aware you kind of do it, right? She has us all under her thumb.
For those that don't know, Jessica Charman, a great friend of mine. We also co-host a Sirius XM show called Played In together. But she not only calls all the Tampa Bay goals, Christina. So we were just mentioning them being in the final and all the work that it takes to host. But Jess also covers a ton of Major League Soccer and was covering the TST tournament. So she was there live and hanging out and enjoying the trash talking and all the entire joyous event, I should say.
Not reaping $1 million, though. I did not get $1 million like Laurie here. I'm just saying the drinks are on Laurie when we all get together,
Drinks
guys.
are
Because
on Lori.
broadcasters do not get $1 million at TST.
You haven't heard how many people have said that dinner's on me. So like at some point in time, it's not going to be because then there's not going to be any more money left. So you better get here early.
So, Jessica, was this your first ever experience with TSD?
Yes, it was. So I have been admiring it from afar the first 2 years, dipping in and out. But finally, the schedule kind of worked that I was able to come and be a part of it. Was super excited. And it was the coolest thing to do as a commentator because I feel like it was made for me. Anyone that knows me knows I have like quite a bantery sense of humor, even on the broadcast. I like to have fun with it. So it was so nice to sort of strip back. We get so caught up in this world of being very, I don't want to say vanilla, like commentary is not vanilla, but very like proper, proper, structured. You're trained, media trained in these ways. It was so fun to probably be like the least media trained version of myself and just have fun of it. And the level is also absolutely amazing. But I want you guys' take on they've got to find something to do with target score time because I called about 3 target score times that went down to 2v2 when no one wanted to take a shot. And that is hard to do as a commentator. I'm like, smash it, take a shot, guys. Come on.
Smash it,
Funny,
take
we
a
were
shot.
just talking about that. I mean, Lori, I mean, you was in it. I put a team in last year, so I felt it where it's like, when you get to 3v3, if you lose that ball, it's almost lethal, right? So like there's this like go and attack it, but at the same time, this conservative knowing that if you lose that ball, it's going to be in the back of the net on you as well. But it's funny that you say that because I just did have that conversation with someone. I was
I
just
said
like,
it on air. I was
yeah,
like, look, from a broadcaster perspective, a fan perspective, we want you to take risks. We want you to go forward. But with $1 million on a line, I was like, if we were playing for $1 million, we'd probably be passing it for the perfect shot as well. But from an entertainment standpoint, you're just like, you could nail this.
I do like that the fans boo, right? That the fans boo whenever someone's like, I think Nani was getting booed. Like, that's the best when they're just like, boo.
That's the beauty, though, of this whole thing is like there's stars like Nani playing in this tournament. You get some incredible. I mean, obviously, our team's really well known because we have a lot of former U.S. Women's National Team players. But on the men's side, there's a ton of former players that were legit pros that are playing this. I mean,
Aguero
I
who
know.
scored an own goal. Christina, I don't know if your husband spoke about this because we were talking to him after the game. Me, Lloyd, Sam, Neil Seeker cornered your husband, and we were like, "So why did this own goal happen?" And I guess there was a phase of play where a guy got 2 yellow cards in the same phase of play, so they literally revolted. Like Aguero scored an own goal on purpose in target score time. It was wild. I was like, "Come on, man, you got to be better than that."
Oh, that's
I got
funny.
like, I would get like basically a recap summary. So I didn't have time to watch any of the group stages or whatnot. And then I just, kept track of Lori. But then I would, from the refereeing perspective, get an update like, somebody got second yellow carded and didn't leave. I'm like, have fun with that one. Which, how many games were there? There was like 165 games or something like that.
Yeah.
So, from like, funny enough, from a refereeing perspective, you're taking 165 games, putting them in a smaller field, more action. There's chances of controversy like skyrocket. So, like, every minute is a chance of controversy. So at least, and I can tell you from the refereeing perspective, like you guys had FIFA referees out there, you've had MLS final referee yesterday out there, as you know, Jessica, etc. But like this, the tournament reminds me of when I used to referee and like cut my teeth in like Miami, where it's like no rules, you just go and it's a little bit of survival and it's like bang bang and all of that stuff. Where we kind of laugh, where like obviously in professional football, like you have to be, back to your point about like being not as trained, same like as polished or as proper. Same thing for the refs. Like Alex Billiter was giving it back to people. Like she gave it back to Carly. Like
Yeah.
that's how we grew up when we were doing amateur football, and like it's kind of fun to do that. And now to be like again in that and being able to like not be as proper as like a FIFA ref, and you're able to be like, no, like forget you. That wasn't a
It
foul.
reminded
Like
me, I used to referee in college, indoor co-ed soccer. That is terrifying, by the way. Indoor co-ed soccer might have been the scariest experience of my life because the constraints of indoor, the violence of indoor, you smash someone up against the wall
The
and they cared so
violence.
much. Indoor is wild
It
in
is
those
wild.
glass wall. It was one of those indoors with like the glass walls all around it. And I think I was making like $20 a game, but I was in college and I probably, was just trying to make a little bit of pocket change. It was not worth it. And I will tell you, I say it every time on a broadcast. I have so much respect for referees because of how scary that job is and how hard it is. You don't realize how difficult it is until you're trying to make a decision yourself. You're trying to find an angle to look at it. And I think that every broadcaster, every fan should try and referee a game, whether it's youth soccer, whether it's indoor, because until you do it, you don't understand the weight of what's on a referee's shoulders.
Speaking of Lori, have you refereed ever before? We feel like we've had a majority of our guests have
Wait, do you not?
officiated.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Do you not know this story? I used to ref indoor when I was like
You did too?
a freshman in college because we would get like $20 a game, which was like felt like a steal, right? For like 50 minutes. And guess who I refed? Lauren Cheney.
Shut up.
Lauren all day because we grew up in the Indianapolis together, and so
That
she
is
would.
hilarious.
It was a place called.
How was she to you? She was always professional and proper to me.
Oh no,
I
she
think
was
maybe
great, but I'm telling you, she's
one
like 8
time
at this
she
point in
popped
time.
off, but then
I'm
I
like
was like,
6.
it's hot outside. I'll give it to her.
Yeah, I'm like 6 years older than her. So it was like she was like 8 at the time. And so like she wasn't causing any problems. It was just hilarious because
Could
like
you imagine if Lauren Cheney now Holiday was giving you problems when she was 8 years old, back talking to you? That would be
it
the
would
most
be
epic story.
amazing. Yes,
She's
no.
so nice.
We laugh about that so much to this day. We're like just have a good laugh every time there's we see each other because we're just like, remember when I used to ref? And I was the worst because I was like it's like 6 a.m. on Saturday mornings. I was tired as like a freshman in high school or an 8th grader. I would just sit up against the boards and then blow my whistle from the
Oh,
midfield
you weren't a
line.
movie. See, I took it too seriously. I was like, I used to wear a Fitbit and I would do like 20,000 steps. I was like sprinting like a crazy woman to keep up with the play and stuff. And then I spoke a little Spanish with the Latin players. And I was like, oh, sí, es un falta. And they used to hate me. Oh my God.
Wait,
is
Jess, I need to
amazing.
know, what was your favorite part of TST?
My favorite part of TST was probably calling. I loved Austin Rise. I thought what Austin Rise did was super cool, and I got to commentate 2 of their games. And they're obviously making their WPSL pro debut next season. And I thought it was so cool to talk to them about their identity. They're 100% women owned. So I have a lot of respect for what they were doing. And it was super cool having like parents come up to me that were listening. Like there was one guy who's like, "Can I listen to you while you're doing the game?" I was like, "Yeah, it's delayed." He's like, "It's worth it." So it was nice getting that. I feel like with NWSL commentary and the further removed you get from like the grassroots level, you kind of lose some of that interpersonal feedback. You get trolls, you get people that maybe tweet you, you get Instagram messages, whatever, but you lose some of that
Trolls.
instant feedback. Yeah, Laurie, I don't know if you've had some trolls, but there are some people that aren't a fan of our commentary every now and then. We have to we have to have thick skin in this business, but it was so lovely to get like that instant connection with people that you were commentating. And
Yeah.
there was some like high schoolers that parents were like, "Hey, this is the coolest experience having like a professional commentator. Thank you so much for giving up your time." So
Oh, that's
that
cool.
was really cool. And that's one of the reasons why I continue to do like lower level college games. Like I go back to my alma mater and stuff during college season because I think it's so important to kind of have those grounding moments where you go back and you use your skills at all level of the game.
I appreciate. I'm just going to jump in here real quick, Christina, because I appreciate that because some of the players on our team, like Tessa Dela Rose, we had younger players that were had a significant impact for us last year and this year in terms of winning. And obviously, because we play in Cary, North Carolina, that's where the tournament is. We can pull players from UNC because Heather O'Reilly has those connections.
Because if Heyo asks you to do something, you do
Yeah,
it, right?
exactly.
Basically, Heo recruited
But let
them,
me be
so let's
let
just be
me
honest.
let me be clear. These players, there's so many players begging to play, especially in college. They love it. It is so fun, and if they don't have to travel and they're in the local area, then it's perfect for them. So we had so many people that wanted to
And
play on
thank
our
you to
team. It was
NIL too, right? Like
Yeah,
they wouldn't be
exactly.
able to, well, actually, they would be able to play and not receive the money. I think that was the question last year was,
Yeah.
can they play and not receive money? I think now they can.
Right. And so what for Tessa Del Rose, for example, though, I called a lot of her games last year for North Carolina or the last couple of years. And so I've gotten to know her parents and we were able to say hi. And so there is that like those relationships that you build, one from our TST team, because we do a lot of just hanging out in between games and we came early and trained for a couple of days and stuff prior to the tournament. But I know those players and their parents from the college game too. So then it's fun to see them in this atmosphere, and it's the exact same. It's like
And
the
Tessa's
relationship
playing
building.
USLW League. I called her
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Riveters game of all games the other week.
They
I was like,
showed
oh,
well. Shout out to the Pittsburgh Riveters. I think they had like a sellout in their first game and
Nice.
such
like
like that. Like,
6,000
Yeah.
fans.
yeah,
Wild.
it's crazy. But I think that's one thing that I'm loving, like right now, right? So like right team, right, is in the USL Super League. And so it goes back to that concept of like grassroots, like not grassroots football, right? Because it's Division 1, but it's like your local community club, the one you want to support. I mean, Jessica, where are you from in England?
I'm from Northwest London, so my
Ah, okay.
nearest team is like Watford FC, but I'm
Okay.
a Reading Football Club fan, a diehard Reading
Ah,
FC girl. There's not many of us in America, but I played for them my final year before moving over here. So wearing that crest was
yeah.
like a dream come true. And I think you're right with where you're going with it. It's so good to have the expansion of teams, to have people have clubs in their community. I mean, I was very close with Carolina Ascent just because I worked for Charlotte FC for so long, and it's just been so cool to see people have a team on their doorstep to go and attend. And maybe I'm not kissing up to you here, Christina, but what you guys do at Tampa Bay Sun, because we get to see all of like the boat trip to the stadium, the heat wave, all of that stuff. Soleil, by the way, was Soleil
Oh,
your idea?
Soleil's my birth child. So I'll keep going, but I'll give you the story of how Soleil came to
It's
birth.
just so cool. And I mean, who doesn't want to go watch a game? And then we see the crowd shots with the kids, and it's not just girls. I think it's so important to show that little boys are coming to games to watch women's professional sports. And I just absolutely love it because everyone always asks the question. I'm sure you all get it as well. Like, how much do you love being a role model for little girls? And I love being a role model for little girls, but I also think it's important to be a role model for little boys because that's how we change the storylines, the stereotypes. When we have boys that look up to us as women, that's when you kind of break the pattern of negativity of the way that maybe men have looked at women in sports. So I just love Tampa Bay Sun's walkout. But you do have an ad read, Christina, that is a pain in the backside. You're sponsored by
Let me
the
write
heart
this.
health, the heart health. It's like a minute and a half read at the beginning.
Oh, TGH, Tampa General
Yeah,
You're
you
Hospital.
never
got,
too
Shout
you
out
young
to
to
know
love
it.
that
them.
read.
By the way, speaking of, I'm gonna like write that down right now. So, like,
That's
they're
funny.
an incredible corporate partner, by the way. They came in at the Value of Women's Sports. They do all our medical care. They're like top in the country. So like, fortunately, we did have some ACLs this year, so they're able to take it here. But like, so you'll appreciate this going back to the mascot Soleil. TJH wants to fly her in on a helicopter and propel her down to
Shut up.
deliver the ball for the final. And we were like, first of all, how does that work with a helicopter and pellets and the fans? We were all on board. Unfortunately, even though we're hosting the final, right, it's still a league final. So unfortunately, that was not approved. so,
Oh,
so Soleil is like, I lost my diva moment. I'm like, dear God. She looks up to Ellie the elephant at Liberty. So we are also managing her credential because if not, I could see my Soleil running onto that stage and trying to get a diva
does she have a
moment. So
designer handbag? The sideline reporter told me she had a designer handbag the other day.
she's got a designer handbag, so she is creating her own kind of a thing. It's funny because right, you go back and forth. You're like, are we fulfilling a stereotype of like the tutu and the designer handbag and all of this stuff? And the actor who plays Soleil has like really embraced it, and everyone loves it. So like, don't get me wrong, Soleil will have wardrobe changes next year and has her own social media and the whole thing. But yeah, long story short, how Soleil came to fruition was like we were sitting here. Go figure. I didn't think I'd ever design a mascot in my life, and um, everyone on the staff was like, "Okay, we Tampa Bay is like. Here's the 5 questions I got when I launched a team. Like, what's your name? What's your brand? Where are you playing at? Are you going to be like the Lightning, the Tampa Bay Lightning? Right? This is a very big hockey town because of their community service, etc. And then the fifth one was, and what's your mascot? I had no clue how huge mascots were. So like that was literally the 5 things I had to satisfy in the first year. If not, Tampa would kill me. So we were talking one day, and one of our interns from USF was like, "It should be a lizard," and we're like, "No, that's a horrible idea." They're like, "Well, lizards bask in the sun," and I'm like, maybe. And then I was watching Frozen with my daughter, and there's a little fire lizard, I think in Frozen 2 or something like that, which is like super cute and it gets like really fiery and like strong. And so I was like, ah. So we designed it, and Soleil, I say, is my second child, my more unruly one than Quinn. And I have to go to social media to find out wherever she is because she'll be at the Rays game sometimes. She's like doing things with the lightning and thunderbug. Like she's she was
She
at
also
that
answers her
roller
social
derby the
media
other
posts.
weekend. I was like, what are you doing?
She like will reply back to you
Oh,
like
for sure.
XOX Queen and all of this stuff. Like it's amazing. Whoever is, yeah, they've done an amazing job. I
And
love it.
and for everyone's fun fact, Jessica gets to see it. Soleil is in our game notes to Lori. Like if you ever called a game, you would see Soleil as one of the players in the game.
That's amazing. That's hilarious.
She's our forever teammate. So
Transferred Tampa Bay. Acquisition, I guess it'd be better
yeah,
to
and the
say.
actor's great. We're working on certain things, right? Like you don't, but going back to that community element, like talking to the actor, and we're like, okay, what's her story, right? And we've gone down the route, and we're developing her story that she's adopted, right? Because then we could talk about adoption of children and adoption of of animals, and kind of build out those types of campaigns in the local community. And then also, like, it's a word I didn't hear, I didn't know, and so I'm learning where our actor playing it for Soleil is like also your chosen family, right? There's so much significance on that in
I
the
love that.
LGBTQ plus community, and I had no idea. So I'm learning so much of how we like embrace, like we always say, football is for all. So we're using every kind of asset that we can, but yeah, so that's kind of the long story of how Soleil came to life, and Soleil is living the life. But yeah, no, sorry, bringing us back to the football side of it, like there's so many great things happening in our backyard that are moving the needle. But then you guys know, you guys talk about it. There's so many things that are happening this summer we always joke, Lori and I always joke, and Jessica, you probably say the same too, like the summer of soccer. Before that was like 2 tournaments,
Summer of
3 tournaments.
soccer is
Now it's like
legit.
everything layered on top of each other. Like, what is your guys like? I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Because funny enough, we're
I'm
kicking off our
overwhelmed.
final with the FIFA Club World Cup at the same time in Miami. So
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed right now. It's a good overwhelmed. I mean, I never thought when I moved here, like there would be so many opportunities. It's super cool to see everyone embracing the US as this hub of soccer, which I absolutely love. Like I'm doing 6 games for DAZN in Club World Cup that's going back to England. It's super amazing to see the amount that they're investing in coverage of an American based tournament in the UK. And I love that in all these game notes, they're like, make sure you don't have Euro bias, make sure you don't have Euro snobbery. And I love it because it's finally starting to seem like people are aware of the natural biases. I've gone my whole career as a rare person that embraces, as an English person that's embracing MLS, that's embracing NWSL. So it's really cool now to see that there are people overseas understanding those biases. But it's going to be tough because then we've got the Euros. Did I see you have an England game, Laurie?
I have a couple of England games.
But
hey,
I don't
let's
think they're going to
go.
be good this year.
I
I'm
know.
so worried with all the retiring.
All
Has
those
Serena lost
Yeah.
retirements.
the locker room?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it
Things
does
are
seem
getting.
like a lot of controversy.
But no, I am overwhelmed at the moment between all the leagues. But once we get started, it's going to be amazing to have a summer of soccer, I think. And it gives us plenty to talk about, which makes our lives a lot easier.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm overwhelmed. I understand the work that I'm about to get myself into is the best way to put it. However, I find it exciting. I mean, obviously, we're all here because we want to grow the game. We love the game of football, and we want to continue to see it grow in the United States. And I think when you have all of this, yes, it can be challenging because you have to pick and choose what you're going to watch and what else you're just going to kind of loosely follow. I think it was smart for the NWSL to take a break during the Euros because then they can take a pause, can put all the attention on the women's Euros. But then you have the Gold Cup. You have also not just on the Euros, but we also have the Women's Copa America. So there's going to be a lot happening. And you can't watch it all, which has been my problem in the past, trying to do that. But I think I'm like, turn on any station, there is some sort of game, and that just like warms my heart.
Just like looking at the schedule and just reminding ourselves, June 14th through July 6th is CONCACAF Gold Cup, which I think is going to be bigger here in the United States than, to be quite honest, the same tournament that runs is the FIFA Club World Cup. At least their final won't be in conflict. And then June 11th through July 11th is Copa America 2025, like in the US. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's just, sorry, I hesitate because like I get excited because it's club and country, right? So like there's more opportunities to make money from a business revenue model side of it from just soccer itself or football itself. But I don't know. I think with you, Lori, I'm just going to turn on the club TVs and just see whatever hits and pops up and gets prompted first. That person spent more money in digital marketing ads, so they get my viewership.
How many people are we going to see on social media being like, my setup for the day or for the next few months?
And they're going to have their tablet, their iPhone,
you got your TV.
and their drink. They have to have their coffee cup there, like a cool sponsored coffee cup. I'm like, Guys, we're all doing it. Get
Okay,
over it.
yeah. All
I
3 of us
think
should keep
cricket game,
tally
like
of how many people we see on social media doing that, and
Ding,
whoever
ding.
comes out on top, yeah. Actually, I'm just gonna
Chris
start posting
Whittingham.
myself
We
doing
already
that.
called Chris Whittingham. We're
Oh,
gonna be the
Whitney's
whoever calls it
definitely gonna
first.
be doing
Woody's
that.
doing it. Whoever calls him first
His
gets it.
Apple Watch is gonna be going off, like, he's getting alerts, he's got his 2 iPads. Oh, goodness, I love him. Too funny.
But if I can, let's tackle the U.S. men's national team and Gold Cup. I mean,
Wait, real
I
quick, Jess, do
literally.
you have to go?
yeah, I have
Oh
like 2
yeah,
minutes.
Jess.
2
Oh
minutes,
yeah,
alright.
for sure. All right, well, Jess, let's say get your take on that. U.S. men's national team Gold Cup. I turned on the game yesterday
Oh,
because I was heard it was 4-0. Any takes on that?
I just feel sad, honestly. I do feel sad because I wanted Poch to come in and everything to be okay. I thought I was kind of bought in with the excitement that everybody talked about. I was bought in with the model and that this was going to be so good for like the branding of the US. It was going to help people put more respect on the US men's national team name because I go back to that word Euro snob that we see so often that people look down on the US. This was a great window of opportunity, but it's just not good right now. I don't think the player pool is great. It seems like there's so much anger going in with, Pulisic's decision to sit out, all of that drama with his dad on social media, Landon Donovan coming in. There's too many headlines about the wrong things right now, sadly, that I think always distracts away from camp. And then the on field product's not good enough. I mean, I always look at the goalkeepers. I feel bad for Matt Turner, but he's not good enough to be the starting goalkeeper for the US for me. And if you don't have a good enough goalkeeper in the back, everything goes wrong. So I am worried about how Gold Cup ends up looking for this US men's national team. But at the same time, let's be real here. I don't think the expectations are high anymore. The expectations were high when the new manager came in, but now everybody's just like,
Yeah,
it
what's
is what it
what
is
is it, the 4 losses for the first
in a
time?
row. Yep.
So what is it, 2007, or did I mess that up? 2017. I have that note. But anyway, yeah, I think you make a really good point because I know you have to go, but I'm just going to say this really quickly is that, um, it felt like the same excitement when Emma Hayes was taking over for the U.S. women. There was a lot of excitement for Pochettino to come in and hopefully turn this team around, and maybe not even necessarily tactics, just get the morale of the team, firing on all cylinders. And Christina and I have talked about this before in this show, just with this golden generation, and get them again, like working together, showcasing their ability. And in fact, it feels like we're going a even different direction. And for some reason, which I don't know if I'm just like an optimist when it comes to this, but I am still hopeful. I'm still hopeful that it's like, okay, these players are going to be able to turn this thing around. There'll be some sort of like uptick sooner than later. But I mean, after last night, that is starting to dwindle a little bit, because it's just like, at what point are we just going to have the same
We have
conversations
a
of,
World Cup on home soil in
yeah,
1 year. I think that's the bit that's such a bummer. It's just
and the
I've been a
expectations, right? Even
huge fan of expectation, right? If anyone knows expectation, it's someone from England because we always, every year, it's coming home. Every year, we
I cover
believe
the
this is
men's
the
Euros. Yeah,
golden
that's
generations we have
crazy.
constantly.
Yeah.
We get it. But the downs, oh, this was like the home World Cup. You need your team to get out the group stages. And it just,
Yeah. Well,
I
it's
know
what,
it's a year away, but dang.
yeah. And even if the expectations aren't there, there's still going to be pressure. There's still going to be pressure because there's going to be people that know the story of our our U.S. men's national team. And there's going to be people that are just going to maybe never watch the men's national team, that are coming from all parts of the world and expecting the home team to do well. And then we'll see. But the amount of pressure that's gonna, I think it's gonna feel on these players, you would be hoping that they are performing at the very top and have been doing that for a while to feel confident, ready to go in to those group stages. But it feels very far, and it feels like we're getting further from that.
But performing at the top, Jessica, thank you for your time. I know you got to run. Thank you for being the voice here with a proper British accent from our producers are
She's
British,
doing it
so
all.
we'll hear it from them. But thanks for joining us on the Soccer Podcast. You say we'll have you at any time. Like, love you, and thank you once
Absolutely.
again for
This was a
everything.
pleasure. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
Yeah,
having
thanks,
me.
Jess.
And I'm glad they think I preserved my English accent because apparently I have an American twang now. And on that note, I will leave and you
Uh-huh.
guys can talk about my American twang. You
Sounds
stay
good. Yeah, and so has Jessica lost her accent? Does she sound like American
No, in
now?
fact, I
I
feel
don't think
like,
so.
yeah.
I'm relying
You
on
think
the
so?
I don't know. I don't think so. I'm relying on
Yeah.
the boys here. They would know better than us. She sound American now.
She's doing great. She's like moving up so quickly, doing all the things, getting rewarded with MLS to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, that's awesome though. Like it's so funny because I had heard her voice on the Super League games because I do listen to the commentators sometimes and I take notes. I'm like, why am I taking notes on the commentators? Like, I'm not going to give them this feedback. That's weird.
Look at you, always professional.
I know,
Oh
but it's
my
so funny
goodness.
because I'm like sitting there when they're like, I think da da da. I'm like, don't say I think, right? That was like such a Shaw thing, like, right? Like, or I believe or whatever. It's just like go out and say that confidently, right?
Yeah.
Or say it confidently, saying, depending upon the angle that I saw, if another angle pops up, right? Like, just give yourself an out, but at the same time, don't stumble. So shout out to Shaw Brown, who, funny enough, used to do all these summer soccer series kind of a stuff. Yeah, just to wrap up on Gold Cup. I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think it's just right now, it's sad, kind of hitting Jessica's point, like covering the England national team on England TV. Like, it, you know, the focus is so much on our men's national team that they're buckling under pressure. I don't think this Gold Cup's going to be good for us. I think it's going to disappoint more. And I think at the end of the day, it kind of actually pushes back soccer in our country, to be quite honest, when our men's national team isn't successful and there's more controversy surrounding them as opposed to performance, right? We're not talking about are they good enough? We're talking about all the off field situations. And unfortunately, the chatter between Pulisic's dad and Landon Donovan, like that's not necessary. Like I'm good
No,
for
yeah,
banter,
in
but that's not
fact,
banter.
it's that stuff that it's just like, I think we could think back to the previous World Cup too and all the stuff surrounding with that. It just makes everything seem not professional in a way is probably the best way to put it. And it's just like, what are we doing? And when we're not talking about soccer and we're talking about um yeah, off the field stuff you were saying, and then there's chatter about effort, which, like, listen, I've played at the highest level. That is something that I I'm not going to comment on that because I mean you're playing at the highest level. I mean you're putting in the work, right? So, but like when we're not talking about tactics or just different things that like the little details that you feel like you would be expected to be talking about at this point in time and under a new coach, then when we're not even touching that because we're losing 4-0, then I think that's when you're just like, I agree with you. I think you say it perfectly. It's like, it's, it's, um, it's not great and it's not, sets us back. Feels like it really is setting us back.
If we gave you a magic wand, how would you fix it? Like I know we talked about LA Galaxy and when they were in their spiral, like what's something that you could do to fix it? Like just it's so easy to talk about the issues, but like I'm always a big proponent of like what could be a solution? Like what could fix that?
Yeah. Well, I just remember like, different situations too, but you're talking about the national team level. Like when Emma came in, it was I'm just talking about like the lead up to the Olympics because there was also, um, now it looks very different because she has time before the next World Cup to be able to bring younger players in. But I remember her being like, okay, this is the group we're working with. This is who we want. And let's like start building this team together and building trust and camaraderie and what we're looking and how we're looking to play and like not like overhauling everything. It's just like, okay, what are our best attributes? What players do we really need to be performing well to get the most out of the entire group? And then go from there. But those are the things I don't even feel like we're talking about. Now, granted, Pulisic isn't mid-camp, and he would be one of those players that you would think you would be trying to build around. So maybe that will be coming in the next time we see him in camp. But it's those types of conversations I really felt our U.S. team going into the Olympics last year for the women were able to excel because everybody brought in. They didn't try to like do too much. It was like, here's like 3 things that we're really going to focus on and play to our strength and let's go. Because I do believe that I'd at least do, we have some really quality players on this men's team. We're not been just calling them this golden generation for no reason. But now it's about them performing together and firing on all cylinders. And I think that's where we've lost a little bit because we haven't been doing that. And that's not even the conversation right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen all of the chatter out there, right? Like conversations on like, do you get rid of the coach? What do you do there? And I don't think that's the answer. There's not enough time in the first place. Plus, what coach would want to step into this right now, right? Like it's only gonna be, disrupting it. But I know like just the small bit here, like managing it, like for us to have a hard reset, it was internal, right? I knew I have a championship team on paper and they had to believe it themselves and
Yep.
they had to do the work themselves no matter what we said or what we did or whatever. Like our team had to do that. We had a hard reset in February. It was kind of just a straight talk about, right? Like ignore all the chatter outside, ignore all the excuses. Like either you're a championship team paper or you're a championship team on paper. How do you become off paper, right?
Yeah.
And the team flipped the switch and now, right, we're in the championship. And that's all credit to them, right? That they bought into this process. But for me personally, that was something where we had to go get the mental conditioning coaches. Like we had to, talk about our talking points and kind of rehash themes and just say like, stop focusing on things that don't matter, right? Like, or they may matter, but they don't matter in the sense of you being able to be successful on the field, right? Like there are things that we can talk about, like 7 to 2 p.m. we're focused on the football. After that, we can focus on other things, but 7 to 2 is focused on the football. So
I have
yeah,
Christina, I
yeah.
have
I
a
mean,
story that kind of about that I love telling. Kaya Hank, she plays in the NWSL right now for Portland Thorns. Just love her as a person and player. Last year, Wake Forest, for the first time, make it to the national championship, the College Cup. And one of their big things with Wake Forest, they had a lot of veteran or like experienced upperclassmen on their team, and they had a very clear conversation prior to the season about outside noise. There's going to be a lot of chatter, right? Like this team is good, but like they didn't want to hear it. They just wanted to focus on themselves. So they just named what that chatter was. And they were just like, the name Sandra. And so then they would
I
just be like,
love it.
shut up, Sandra. Anytime anything would come up or they would hear, they'd just be like, shut up, Sandra. And
Oh
it
my
was
God.
amazing. So this year, I've seen Kaya a few different times. And I told Rob Gale, her coach, I'm like, just go up to Kaya when you see her next at like your team meal and say, shut up, Sandra, and see what she says. And it's just brilliant. So I feel
It's
like we need to
brilliant.
shut up Sandra because for the U.S. men's national team, because we all could have our opinions and we could all, but like we're not the ones there, right?
No.
So Pochettino, get that group together. Let's go. We have a year out. It's easier said than done, but I mean, it really needs to be
Find
like
your shut up
enough with the
somebody.
noise, enough
Yeah.
with the noise, enough with and this is what makes sports wonderful is that everyone can have you can say whatever you want, right? But that is the point, is this be like, shut up, Sandra, if you're performing. And it was just, I mean, yeah,
I
when
love
Kaya
it.
Hanks
I
told us
think
that,
it,
we
yeah.
just lost it. Jen Hildreth and I it was like our favorite story of the season.
But like psychologically, you think about it, right? You are now putting that into an embodiment, you're personifying it, and then you're just basically dismissing it, right? So it's like being able to create what is this noise and this,
Yeah.
ambiguous, amorphous thing, and being able to concretely put it together. So if you can name the U.S. soccer men's national team, that's for Sheridan. I always say U.S. men's national team online, and she loves it. Like I was doing commentary when on Nations League, and Jesse Marsh like sprinted across. I think it was the U.S. bench. I'm like, Jesse Marsh sprinted across the U.S. men's national team bench, and she's texting me. She's like, "Are you kidding me? Of course it's the men's national team." I'm like, hey, I'm just
No, you have
qualifying
to. We have
everything.
even
Yeah,
social media handles that are different these days. So let's go. The
thank you.
distinction is important.
What would you name the U.S. men's national team if it's not Sandra? What name would you
Shut
give
up,
it?
Steve. I don't know. Just
You gotta keep the alliteration. I like it.
yeah, you have to. I mean, listen, you heard it here first, everybody. This is the new thing. Like
Shut up,
the U.S. men's
Steve.
national team needs to adopt "Shut Up, Steve" and let's freaking go. We've got 1 year. Actually, I think it's a year today. It
A
starts.
year today or a year yesterday.
Yeah.
I saw the
So
posts.
like, luckily listen. If the men get out of the group next year, report back to this 365 days later. This "Shut Up, Steve" moment. So.
By the way, we're probably gonna find like a troll named Steve who's gonna start
Yeah.
trolling us.
Right. Exactly.
And if you're not a troll and your name's Steve, we still like you. But we're just gonna go with that one. It's like the Karen connotation. But what is going on? Club World Cup this Saturday. Ironically, same time as my championship match, but that's okay. We have a Fort Lauderdale team we're playing. But Viva Club World Cup, right? It's a billion with a B. Like you just made money with $1 million, but this is $1 billion And there's no traction here in the United States. It
Yeah.
feels kind of a bit soulless, for lack of a better term. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It just, I know what they were trying to do. And like I said, the clubbing country, and as a club being able to get some more viable business dollars in, it's just, what happens if no one shows up? Like, how do you change face on this? Like, I don't know. What does this do? What does this say about the United States and soccer, if it says anything about the United States and the position of soccer in the game?
Yeah, I don't know necessarily if it does. I mean, potentially, but I do think it goes um where I'm saying that I'm excited and like Jess is saying she's overwhelmed and there's just so much happening. I think this is what happens is that like at some point in time, one of these events is going to take a back seat, whether it's, and then you're also looking at everything else that you're competing with. You're competing with vacations in the United States because it's the summer holiday. You are competing with um, baseball. You're competing with some other things that are just challenging. But then when you think of Gold Cup, when you think of um, MLS is still going on. If people are going, it's just like at some point in time, you have to pick and choose what you're going to pay attention to because we only have so much ability to focus on however many things. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Club World Cup, how many people show up. I know Philly, we're hosting some games here, but I'm actually going to be out of town for a lot of it. But yeah, I think that's
What,
just
you
what.
working on the weekend of a game?
Are you
No.
traveling? What? By the way, Kev, our producer, I'm going to be in Portland, so let's link up on. I'll be there on Sunday for the game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love it. But like, yeah, okay, so right, we were debating this. I was in like a legal FIFA course, and they're like, it's a new tournament. I'm like, but is it? It's really just the Confederations Cup, right? For lack of a better term, prior to, and I was fine with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before the big dance, before the multi-billion-dollar, competition that the whole world stops and watch, including the US, like, give it a dry run, test out the stadiums, right? Like, you were here for the FIFA Club World Cup. I think it's either 5 or 6 stadiums that are being used or something like this. I'm taking a quick look at our notes, but like, it actually 5 different World Cup stadiums, and that's fine and that's fair with it. But do you then present it, or you step into it as more of, if you're going to do the FIFA Club World Cup right before a World Cup, do not charge so much money, right? Do not do so much in
Yeah.
like sponsorship, and you kind of just like help create this, country's passion for the game before the Club World Cup, to be proud to host the Club World Cup. And you kind of use this to kind of build that momentum, saying, we're kicking off the momentum. We're going to keep tickets, reasonable. Families are going to get out there, because when we host the World Cup, a lot of people aren't going to be able, that are local, are going to be able to go to the game because of the cost of the World Cup.
Mhm.
So it's like, not that it's budget friendly or devaluing the cost of a cost of Club World Cup, but it's building the whole point of what FIFA was started as, right? Like, I know one of our producers hates the beautiful game, but it's kind of starting that beautiful game concept, right? And especially when you're building the game, like, turn the FIFA Club World Cup into that, right? Get people to be passionate about it. You don't charge them an arm and a leg, and that builds up for the World Cup itself, and lets you do a test dry run without kind of this egg on your face when you're not able to sell tickets. That's my thought.
I think it's incredibly smart because that is going to be another aspect is travel, what it costs always. So
Yeah. So we'll see. Well, good luck to the FIFA Club World Cup this weekend. Hopefully people are able to watch it. Hopefully we have more fans, though, from Fort Lauderdale coming over here to Tampa for the final. That's fine. That's actually pretty cool. They're bringing up almost 200 people. So shout out to Fort Lauderdale for being able to bring a good supporter section like that. But fun fact, before I forget to note it, is the 2 Division I Women's Professional League final trophies are both going to live in Florida for the next thing. So Orlando winning the NWSL. Now one of our teams winning it for the USL Super League. I mean, contrary to popular belief, maybe Florida is a football powerhouse. It's not
no,
California.
just
It's
joking.
not
I'm just
California.
joking.
Yeah.
I haven't heard
No.
that before. I don't know what you're talking about. No. Well,
Every
good luck
national
to
team.
you. I mean, this is huge.
Thanks.
Really, congratulations, because we do know how much work that you've put in behind the scenes. And it's an exciting moment for the first year of the league, and to not only be in this position, but then now happening to host, and you're like, how quickly things are moving to gear up for this championship. So congratulations, and also good luck to get it all done.
Thanks. I got to write a book, and I'll have a forward from another GM who won $1 million right before me. You get to do the forward. Like, as another
Yeah.
GM, I am endorsing this book.
I have a huge hard hitting question. How is your triathlon training going in the midst of all of this? Because I feel like I could answer this.
Okay. Ooh, answer it. Because let's see.
Has it taken a back seat, or is it the only thing that's keeping you sane?
It's the only thing that's keeping me sane. What
Nice.
is kind of helping to take a back seat is my shoulder. What's it called, right? So even when I first started training, like you forget, like as just playing soccer your whole life, you're just running like this.
Yep.
So I've never like competitively swam. So I'm not a bad swimmer, but like this rotation without like the proper strengthening or whatever. So like feel it like last Friday, my whole arm was like stiff. I just stayed home, like it's throbbing. So and then go figure, someone's like, you do know you have an athletic trainer and a high performance strength coach like behind this wall that you can just ask them to get you a
let's get
plan
some
to
needles
get
in
your
there.
shoulder.
Let's get some acupuncture. Like, let's
Yeah.
get you healed up. Wait,
Yeah.
what are you anticipating for this weekend? Is this a win for you? How
Ah.
have you fared against
Yeah, I mean, you
Fort
obviously
Lauderdale?
never want to do it, but yeah, just on the percentages and strong, it's kind of from just kind of numbers, sheets, etc. We should be. The mentality's there for Riverfront Stadium, right? Which is our partnership with Blake High School. The Heat Waiver supporters call it Fort Blake, which I love because like our statistics and defending here at home soil, like I think we've only lost like twice, like very rare many
Amazing.
goals. So we definitely have a lot of kind of movers advantage in this final. But this is truly a rivalry. It is a Florida Derby rivalry. I know Jacksonville enters the U.S. Super League next year, and we all kind of joked, we're like, do we call that a derby, like a Florida Derby, or do we just ignore Jacksonville because they weren't one of the originals? Shout out to Jax. They're awesome. Becky's awesome. That group's awesome over there. But yeah, no, we'll see here. We'll see. It's definitely going to be a feisty match on the field. That's for sure. So from a pure entertainment standpoint, like we keep saying we're going to make Tampa a soccer town again, because we haven't had professional soccer in the heart of Tampa Bay, meaning like in downtown
Since
proper
the
Tampa.
mutiny.
Since the mutiny, baby. So now we got to take that. So I know we're going to give everyone a good show. So looking forward to that, growing the game.
Yeah,
One game
can't
at a
wait to
time.
hear
Yeah.
and
Well,
watch and tune in.
awesome. Well, yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Jessica, what a great guest to bring on, a voice that we've all heard, and also your other podcast host. So that's really, really cool. So thanks, Lori, for that. Everyone, catch the Soccer Podcast USA on all of the different podcast formats, Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff, and YouTube as well. And we will see you guys next week. Hopefully, I'll be hosting a trophy similar to Lori, and I will just break something for breaking something's sake, just to keep the tradition alive.
Sounds like the right idea.
Let's do it. All right. Thanks all. Speak soon. Don't forget to follow us on the Soccer Podcast USA as we continue to bring you big names and bold opinions. That's it for our show. See you later.